we've got a couple things to talk about. Can we put up the triangle question of the week, Carol, which I believe is number 6? This is the triangle question of the week. You remember the Mike Peterson thing, right? This was on the front page of the Internet today. Here, can we show this, Carol? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. This is the courtroom scene. That's Michael Peterson's dead wife's murdered wife's sister, although it could have been an owl, they say. Mike Peterson's defense lawyer once tried to float that. It was an owl that knocked her down the stairs. That's the sister. She's saying, please do not let Tracy Klein, the Durham district attorney, I can't tell whether she's saying don't let the Durham district attorney Tracy Klein do this or give her more time. It's tough from the Internet's reporting. It's not clear what the relationship is between Kathleen Peterson's sister and the Durham District Attorney's Office. Durham District Attorney Tracy Klein has been having a lot of trouble lately. She's under a lot of attack for doing what I think are clearly illegal things, my opinion, based on the evidence I've read in the paper. This is the district attorney, one of the prosecutors, main prosecutors in Durham County. Just doing really seedy stuff. That's what it looks like. And it looks like the bar's already investigated. It looks like she's going to get at least some kind of reprimand, right? And she's the one who's the only one left from the time, or the main person left from the time when Michael Peterson was convicted. Here's the key issue. This guy, Deaver, who was the blood spatter expert, right, Carol? Can we show that? Deaver was the blood spatter expert that convinced the jurors in the trial that he knew what was going on and that this blood spatter on Mike Peterson's pants could only have come from this and that and the blood. You know, he painted himself as this huge expert. Carol, I don't know if Mike Peterson killed his wife or not, but I do know this. Are you ready? The Durham District Attorney's Office did not prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that Mike Peterson killed his wife. The jury was fooled. There was plenty of reasonable doubt in this case. So the case, to me, never reached the level. If I was on that jury, I would have been the lone holdout. You're kidding me, right? They're saying because he was bi and was fooling around with some other guy on the side, that's what did it. And let's see, what really? That's what they used. That was the main thing they used as his motive, right? I was a little skeptical, and I don't think they proved anything. And now it turns out that the lead blood spatter guy, who was probably, I suggest, you can argue with me, the number's 996-6775, you can argue with me about this. I suggest that the blood spatter evidence was pretty much the core of their case. And now we find out that Deaver, who's been completely disgraced, top to bottom, on a bunch of other cases, lied about his credentials during the trial. And so Mike Peterson's lawyers are now trying to get a retrial on the basis of the fact that this guy Deaver, whose evidence was a key part of Tracy Klein and what's his name, the guy that also resigned in disgrace in Durham, who was the prosecutor in the Duke Lacrosse case? I know, there's so much. Stephen Colbert has talked about so much since then. How am I supposed to fill it? What's his name? The guy that, got, disbarred for his misconduct in the Duke Lacrosse thing. Anyway, I think that's what happened. What was his name? Somebody please call me up, 996-6775. What was the name of the Durham District Attorney in the Duke Lacrosse case? But, what was I talking about, Carol? Yeah, the blood spatter, the main evidence, what did I do? Oh, I hate when I do that. Hang on. The main evidence came from this guy, the blood spatter guy, right? That was the main evidence. And that's what convinced the jury. I missed something in there. I'm sorry about that. I've had a long day, and plus I had to ride my bike home in the rain. So the question is, should there be a retrial for Mike Peterson? Carol, you know what I think? I think yes. If the question is, should this person have been allowed to give expert testimony? when we now know that his presentation of his credentials was false. So anyway, I'm curious to know what you think about this. Do you think that Mike Peterson, given this presentation by his defense lawyers, and it's not just his defense lawyers that are making stuff up. I mean, this is pretty clear stuff. They got a State Bureau of Investigation assistant director who was asked how many reports Deaver had written. And it was like something like a quarter of what he said he did. Mike Nifong, that's right. How could I forget Nifong? Mike Nifong. Did somebody call, or did you look at? Carol's got her little brain in her hands. Not that your brain's little. I'm saying you've got an additional little brain in your hands. Carol's got a big brain. So anyway, it's a really fascinating story. Now, you add to this the new thing. Tracy Klein was the assistant prosecutor on this case, remember. Nifong resigned in disgrace. Tracy Klein, I think it was Tracy Klein, who ended up giving the closing remarks, where she brought up the bisexual stuff and really hammered that element home to make it seem that, just because he was bisexual and cheating on his wife, he was a horrific person who was, the cheating part is pretty horrific, Carol. But was it murder? It was all based on this bizarre blood spatter evidence that just didn't, I never thought it made any sense at all that they could know for sure. But that was the key part of Nifong's and Klein's prosecution. Correct me, somebody feel free to correct me via email or on the phone if I've gotten any facts wrong. It's been a while, and and also I'm trying to pour out a lot off the top of my head. I don't have a little microphone in my ear, Carol, and I don't have cue cards or anything, so I'm just trying to look at my notes and trying to remember everything. All right. So, in addition to this clear evidence of lies about how qualified he was to present this. And given how badly Mike Nifong botched the Duke lacrosse case later, we can pretty much, accept that he would have botched this as well. And now, given the overreaching that Tracy Klein, this is the new stuff that the district attorney in Durham now, Tracy Klein, is now involved in, all these accusations of absurd overstepping the law. Absurdly denying basic fair procedures for a fair trial. These are serious accusations against the current district attorney over there in Durham County. Right? Given that, it's suddenly a lot less hard to believe that they would have boosted this blood spatter expert's testimony as much as they could, allowed him, if not outright encouraged him, to lie about his experience, and painted him as much more authoritative and the evidence as much more authoritative than it could have possibly been. I'm sorry, I don't care how much CSI you've watched, that blood spatter presentation of the evidence in the Peterson trial was very iffy. And if it hadn't been for the fact that Mike Peterson was having a bisexual affair, I really doubt that the jury would have convicted. Now, I'm not saying he did it or didn't do it. The previous wife falling down the stairs, Carol, remember that?
I think he did it.
This is all, Carol says, I think he did it. All right, fair enough. But they didn't prove it, I don't think. And also, here's the important principle, Carol. The basic right to a fair trial in Durham County is now massively called into question. Massively called into question, not just by Peterson, but over the course of the last 5 years, we've seen case after case after case after case, not just Durham County, all across North Carolina, of innocent people on death row, evidence being pushed aside, evidence not being turned over to the prosecutor or to the defense team at all. Prosecutors lying to judges, ignoring judges' requests. We have so much evidence of this in North Carolina over the last few years. And now here's Tracy Klein going completely insane against this judge with his long rambling accusations against Orlando Hudson. Is that his name? That's his name. Yeah, I think I've been in Orlando Hudson's courtroom, not as a accusee. But I think I've watched him in court. I can't remember. It's been so long ago since I lived in Durham. But, and reported on Durham for that matter. But there's so much prosecutorial misconduct over the last 5 or 10 years in North Carolina that's recently come to light. Tracy Klein over in Durham right now is just the latest example. And so that's what I think is really strange about Kathleen Peterson's sister now saying, not just according to the quotes in the NNO today, we need more time, but you can't let this district attorney prosecute this case. That's a direct quote. Give me a second. This is not dead time. This is actual time that's being used usefully, defined to page 12A. I am here to, this is Kathleen Peterson, the sister of the woman who was killed in Mike Peterson's house. I am here to say my sister still has rights, and there is no way you can have this district attorney represent my sister, Zamperini said. Doesn't that seem like a lot more than she needs more time, Carol? So the NNO leaves it a little unclear as to whether Kathleen Peterson's sister is saying this district attorney is not able to do this, or I don't think she's qualified to do this, or she's got such a stink of corruption about her right now that I don't want my sister's case at all tied up with her. See, I think that's what's really happening. I think that's what Zamperini, Kathleen Peterson's sister, is saying. She's actually saying, there's no way this district attorney, with all these accusations of misconduct around her right now, and this lunatic behavior she's been engaging in the past couple weeks, there is no way you can allow her to prosecute this case. My sister deserves better. She's not just saying delay so that Tracy Klein can get her crap together. She's saying delay so that we can find somebody else. And the NNO reporter, Joseph Neff, you've been there for a long time. I respect your stuff generally. But you were very unclear about what Zamperini was actually saying in your article today. And I hope you will clarify that. Is Kathleen Peterson's sister saying, I don't want Tracy Klein on this case at all?